Everybody, welcome to the video. I'm the man behind the camera, Joker from Team Armed Caliber. Today we had a sneak peek of Duelist Nexus at our local OTS shop, Adventure Gaming, here in Zanesville, Ohio. And as you can tell from the thumbnail, I took first place. I wanted to show you what I ran today. Let's get into it. So, for those of you that don't know, at the sneak peek, when you enter, you get 5 packs of Duelist Nexus and you get this field center. I've already opened my 5 packs. I didn't get anything incredible out of them, but out of 5 packs, this is pretty good to pull. Just wanted to show you what I got. When you win, we got, at our OTS, we got 3 packs, 2 packs, and 1 pack for first, second, and third. First place also gets this Crimson Dragon and also got this mat. And then our OTS did a raffle where it was more like a random draw. Somebody random also got a mat and a Crimson Dragon. It was milliseconds from getting both, but it's all right. So I wanted to open up these 3 packs on the camera here. Got another Wheel Synchron, Jurassic Power, Sentinel of the Testina. Okay. Another Chimera Fusion. Not bad. What do y'all think of the Chimera archetype that's coming out? I hear a lot of people saying it's gonna be good with branded. What do y'all think? You got any special strats, some secret sauce you're cooking? Got the Gazelle. All right, let's get these out of the way and get into the profile. So I played a bit of a different build of this kind of deck, and we'll talk about it as we get into it. So first off, 3 Mantis. Yeah, TRAPTRIX. I know at this moment a lot of y'all sighed, but this deck is pretty good. It's just, you know, it's got that cliche. So 3 Myrmelio. Pretty standard here, 3 Pudica. A lot of people play 2. I play 3 because I'd rather have the body than a double field spell. You know, if you draw a second field spell, you just got a second field spell. If you draw a second Pudica, yeah, you can't get the effect, but it is another body. And if you can get it in the graveyard, then you can use that as Holotad, a special, or something like that. Also, 2 Arachnocampa. A lot of people decide back and forth, 2 and 3. I played it at 3 for a while. In fact, I even took it to my regionals at 3. And it was because if you draw 2, you can still get into Sarah because you got the effect to activate. But honestly, I'd rather search Campa than draw Campa. So that's why I went down. Same with Dianea. If you get another Dianea in your opening hand, it's really nice. Sometimes, if you don't want to search for a Campa, like if you're planning for your next turn, you don't search for Campa, you search for Dianea. I know, TRAPTRIX taboo to normal summon Dianea, but it is an extra body. And not only do you get that extra body, you get the effect that body uses when you special it. So it could be a Pudica, it could be a Myrmelio, or it could just be, you know, nothing, but it's still another body, which is another Xyz off of 1 monster. Also, 2 Exceed instead of 3. Here's my mindset with this deck. I run a lot of 2-ofs except for the engine because I want the engine and I want the engine to run right. But if I find one of these, that's just a bonus. Also, if you have a 3rd Exceed, that's an opportunity for a brick. I wanted to remove as many opportunities for bricks and just move everything aside and let this deck work and give it bonuses if it runs into extra stuff. 1 Garden, 2 Pot of Prosperity for the same reason. Most of the time, if you let this deck run, it runs fine. If you use Pot, that's an extra bonus that you don't need to have, but it's nice to have. 3 Holotea, because Holotea. 2 Gravediggers. If you have not tried to use Gravediggers in this, I highly recommend it. Gravediggers will win you games. If I mean, I've hit people with 3 of these in one turn, or not one turn, but 3 of these in one game, but I've only got 2. This hits, of course, hand traps, it hits branded, it hits math mech. This Gravediggers is so good. Labyrinth, Gravediggers. Also, TRAPTRIX, Trap Hole Nightmare. I see a lot of builds that don't use more than 1 Gravediggers, more than 1 TRAPTRIX Trap Hole. If somebody special summons a monster, they're almost 100% gonna wanna use that monster's effect. Most of the time, people don't special summon a monster just for the sake of special summoning a monster, unless you're playing Math Mech or some kind of Cyberse deck. But even then, you've got Gravediggers. So this at 2 and Gravediggers at 2 is great because you can set one, and then with Rafflesia, you have an optional second. It's so good. Now 3 more, and these I do play one of: Bottomless, Terrifying Trap Hole, Floodgate Trap Hole. Floodgate Trap Hole for the situations where, for example, Fluanderies, they do normal summons. And all of my trap holes, they ignore them. So I have to have something that will damage based on a normal summon, and I've got 2 of them. Now Bottomless isn't the best. Also, it doesn't hit all of their targets because they're not all 1500, but these are one-ofs that you can target or you can trigger off of Rafflesia if you need to. For hand traps, Ash, only 2. I know everybody plays 3, but like I said, you want this deck to run. It does a good job at trapping itself. It's TRAPTRIX. It does a good job at interruption. You don't need to clog up your deck with more than 2 Ash Blossom. If you find an extra Ash Blossom, that's great, but you don't need to clog it up with more than 2. Same thing for Imperm. I know, a trap card triggers Sarah, but it's also a hand trap. We've got plenty of trap cards that trigger Sarah. You don't need to rely on Imperm for it. So if you find one, that's great. If you don't draw into Imperm, you're drawing into a mechanic card anyway. Now here's where this deck takes a turn. Almost every profile you'll see has more hand traps or extra stuff. You know, a lot of these are at 3, so that takes up a lot more slots, and then they'll fill it up with more hand traps. But what is the problem with TRAPTRIX? Going second. So if you think about the structure deck, what do they give you in the structure deck? Kaijus, Raigeki, Harpies. They were telling you need some kind of board breakers. So I played 2 Book of Moon because it's a spell card in case I can't play traps, because people are gonna wanna play trap negation. So it's Book of Moon. I can play it on my turn or their turn. It works great. Raigeki, 2. Thought about playing 3, but I didn't wanna, for the same reason that I'm playing 2 of almost everything else here. I didn't wanna clog up with non-engine. 1 Harpies, because you can only play 1. And then 3 Evenly. Yeah, not engine, but it is a trap card that does a lot more work than Imperm, and it breaks boards. 7 board breakers in here. So if I go second, I'm not afraid, because out of 7 cards, I'm probably drawing at least one of these. Let's move these and get into the extra deck. Extra deck, just 2 Sarah. Same reason. I know it's engine, but if you need to get into your 3rd Sarah, you're probably gonna lose anyway. Not much more to say to that. It is what it is. 1 Oedipus, because you don't need to play more than 1. You're probably not gonna go into more than 1. And if you can go into more than 1, you need access code instead. You need a backup to Oedipus. You need a backup to high damage. If they out your Oedipus, you need something else to go into. Also, Underworld Goddess, because in my deck, honestly, it's the only kaiju I play. It's an emergency if I got 1 card on their field that I can't out with anything but a kaiju. And this way I kaiju their monster, but I don't give them the monster, it's mine. Now 2 Rafflesia. I'm not gonna lie to you. I, for a while, thought about taking this card completely out. And that was because I didn't realize its protection from battle and card effects. Yeah, not from itself, but it protects Sarah for at least 1 card for at least one activation. And that's incredible. But if you pop 2 of these out on your turn 1, and you set other stuff almost every time consistently without extra cards, without pot, without all the extra stuff, even without exceed, parallel exceed, I can put Sarah, Rafflesia, and 2 trap interruptions here. So that's gonna give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then whatever our special, 6 interruptions for their turn. If you can play through that, you're incredible. Which people do. I'm not saying nobody can. I'm just saying that's a lot of interruptions, especially when most of those interruptions are eating your monsters with optional back row popping. So play 2 Rafflesia and make as many as you can in your first turn. Now, depending on the situation, if you're gonna do a mirror match, which I did today, obviously Rafflesia is useless to you. I did line up 1 Rafflesia because of maybe Ash Blossom or Hand Trap or something that they would activate from their hand, Arachnocampa or something. With that, I paired Ping. Rafflesia with Pinguicula is an incredible setup to go into your next turn if you survive through all that. Because you can pop something with Rafflesia, take it with Ping, now Ping is immune. Also Allomeris, the only time you want to make Allomeris is when you can make her with 3. Because if you use 3, you detach, you bring back Pudica, banish their monster, and then use Allomeris' second effect, detach the 3rd material, special summon that monster. Also, Time Thief. Time Thief is incredible in this deck because you can make him with Halatea, but honestly, I've learned that putting Rafflesia on the board is much better than Time Thief. You want to use Time Thief if you're going to remove stuff and you can attack for game. But if you're going into their turn and you can't do damage, do not do Time Thief. Yes, I know it targets any card and returns it, but Rafflesia has so much more utility than Time Thief. Also, more board breakers. 1 Exciton, because level 4s go into it. You main phase 1 on your turn, they've taken their turn, they've no doubt got more cards than you. Exciton, blow up their board, attack. Yeah, they don't take damage. In fact, one guy today said, okay, I don't take damage. I said, yeah, it's fine. Main 2. He said, oh. Now you've got a Zeus with 2 materials on it, and you can blow up their board their turn. Second one, just in case you play Kashtira, yeah, I know they don't have Diablosis anymore, but they do have Unicorn, and there was this one player that ripped apart my extra deck with Unicorn once. So you gotta have 2 just in case they take the 1. Ultimate backup, Baguska. If you're playing a mirror, play Baguska. Skill Drain is a #1 killer to your deck. Play Baguska. First turn, make Baguska, make Pinguicula, pass turn. Also, if you're in tournaments, you need to have Cowboy. This card won me 2 or 3 games today, 2 or 3 matches, just simply because I can deal some damage in a couple of minutes. Make a Cowboy, burn for game. Let's get into the side deck. For the side deck, there's 1 Floodgate, just in case there's a Fluanderies player or a Kashtira player, and I need to side out something for Floodgate because it works great against them. Also, Anti-Spell for just about everything that runs spells. If you play Anti-Spell, you need to make sure you have protection for it because as soon as you activate it, they're gonna rush to destroy this. Also, 2 D-Barrier and 1 Traptrix. Yeah, I could play 3 D-Barrier and a Traptrix or something, or just 3 D-Barrier, but the point in this is to thin out your deck a little bit so that your next draw is better because you don't want to draw another D-Barrier. It's fine, you can stall for a turn, but they've probably got other things they can go into. So you can set the Traptrix and then you can banish 1 D-Barrier, set 1 D-Barrier, now your deck is 2 cards thinner. Imperial Iron Wall because Fluanderies, enough said. They do normal summons, they ignore my trap holes. Imperial Iron Wall. Cosmic Cyclone because Skill Drain hurts this deck. You have to have some back row removal more than just Harpies. and 4 cards is very good insurance. Maybe I've just been hurt by skill drain. When I went to regionals, my first 2 matches were Labyrinth players, and both of them did skill drain Daruma Karma Cannon, and I might just be offended. But it is okay. It is what it is. Last 3, Droll and Lock Bird, because cards like Rescue Ace, or decks like Rescue Ace, you know, decks like Pearly, stuff like those decks, you just want to have this, because as soon as you don't side this, as soon as you don't have this in your side deck, you're gonna wish that you had it in your side deck. That's just the way that it's gonna work. So just keep it in there just in case. Yes, I did use it. Yes, it does work. So this is my first place sneak peek OTS deck profile with TRAPTRIX. I did the thing. If you have any questions, if you got any suggestions, feel free to leave a comment down below, and make sure you guys hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for more profiles, more feature matches. The videos we haven't had too many videos recently, and that's because I'm the one that edits them, and about a month ago I had a child, my first child. So thanks for watching, thanks for coming to these videos, and thanks for your support. Team Armed Caliber signing out.